name is Mackenzie Tucker, and my speech will be over why I think that you should play a sport. My first question will be, have you ever thought about playing a sport? My other question will be, have you ever thought about the benefits that you get from playing that sport? My 3 main points that I will hit on today will be physical health, reducing stress, and social skills. Today I'm going to talk to you about why I think that you should play sport and the benefits that you get from playing a sport. My first main point that I will be hitting on is physical health. Physical health is something that I used to struggle with. I know, or a lot of people do. A lot of people do struggle with their physical health. For example, a lot of people know and some people don't know, but I was born with 2 holes in my heart at 2 months old, so that I had to go into open heart surgery. And a lot of people think that, or a lot of people are surprised that I'm capable of playing a sport now, but it was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done when I was first started off. So rec was the first thing, or the first sport that I started playing. And I had very bad heartburn at the time, so it was hard for me to push myself when I couldn't. So I went to the doctor, and she said that I was able to play a sport, but I have to be motivated, and if I wanted my physical health to be there, that I had to push myself. And for me, I'm capable of taking things in and putting them into play. So I went back onto the field, and heartburn hurts a lot, and a lot of people know that, but it was 10 times worse for me. So when I could feel it, I just pushed through the pain, and I just kept pushing myself. And I'm glad that I did, because I feel like my heartburn would still be bad today if I didn't. So I'm glad to say that when you do play a sport, it does improve your physical health. Another thing is that when, physical health wise, I know, weight was an issue for me. I was, too small to play where I wanted to play, so the coaches would tell me, I needed to eat this, and I needed to work out more. So I started going into the gym, and I started working out, heavier weights, and I started eating a lot more, trying to, basically what guys would say, bulking, but, not like that. So I did that, and then I was able to play the position that I wanted to play, and I want to go off to college and stuff, so physical health is a really big benefit that they love to see in any athletes, any sport that you play, physical health is a big thing. And another example is my dad is 48, and he plays adult soccer league. So for the older people that think that they can't, well, I think that you've never tried and that you need to give it a shot, because my dad used to have really bad hip problems, and he wasn't able to do a whole lot of running with his, I think it was his calves maybe. It was his feet. He has really bad problems with his feet, and so he was able to get out there and push himself, and I have not heard him complain about anything about his hips or his feet, because now thinks he's some big-time person now, big-time athlete, of course. But when I can see an older person get their health better, it makes me so much happier, because I feel like a lot of people don't know that sports does help with your physical health, and it took a lot of convincing for him to actually do it, but when he did it, he felt so much better in doing it. Another thing that ties in with like any kind of health would be reducing stress. For me, I also struggled with that. I used to have a lot of stress on me. Like, stress was a big factor. So when I first started playing soccer in high school, that's when stress was coming on me, because I mean, it's high school. Everyone's stressed out in high school. So I started playing on a new team, people that I didn't know, and when I was able to find a few people to talk to about what I was dealing with at home or even at school with girls that were talking bad about me, it was easy for me to open up to them, because in general, I'm not a person that can open up, and it's hard for me to open up, but they've really helped me open up in life. And I think that's really great for a lot of people. And also, another thing that helped me with reducing stress is when I'm on that field, all I can focus on is soccer and who I'm going up against next week, or, well, how does she play compared to me? And it helps, like, to me, when I play a sport, it's a vacation from whatever is going on the outside. And that sounds kind of funny, but it actually is, because it takes off a lot of what's going on in your mind. Because when you're playing a sport, like, what I'm saying is a vacation is you're not worried about the things outside. You're concerned about what's going on, what's happening, like, what do you have to do in order to get in physical shape? Like, you're not concerned about what's going on. Another thing that I would like to talk about today is social skills. And that ties in with reducing stress and stuff, I would say, because I used to be that one kid that used to sit by herself, didn't speak to anyone, because I was like scared, nervous, stressed. Like, I was like, no, I don't want to talk to people. I was very shy. I got up into high school and started playing with some bigger girls. Like, I used to be very small. I was going up against bigger girls, and on my team I had bigger girls. They were basically all seniors, like a couple of juniors, but not really any sophomores, and I was the only freshman. So they really pushed myself to, like, talk to them and open up, communicate, because in any sport you have to communicate. And I know, like, for some people it's hard to communicate, but for example, soccer, like, if you don't communicate, they don't know if you're passing them the ball. They can't read your mind. That's what my coach likes to say, is they can't read your mind. Like, communication is key out there. So it was really hard at first to open up and communicate with them, but when I actually started doing it, it improved social skills, like, altogether. Like, I had a class where we did a lot of speeches, and I would say 6th grade, in middle school, I wouldn't be able to get up and talk to anybody during speeches, but in high school, like 9th grade, instantly, like, I was up at the front. I was raising my hand to be able to talk in front of people. And for me, or for people that know me, it was like a shocker to them. Like, they didn't know that I was capable of getting up in front of a class and actually speaking to people. But I would have to say, like, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have the teammates that I have, or if I didn't play any kind of sports to really make me feel confident in myself. So yeah, I'm just speaking in front of a class, that, I mean, it's an ease to me now. There's a quote that I saw, and it kind of stuck out to me. It's by a guy named Dean Kalmazes, and he says, "Run when you can, walk if you have to, crawl if you must, just never give up." And I feel like a lot of us today, we just feel like giving up, but you don't need to. Like, you need to try new things. Like, if you failed the first time, like, don't give up, because for me, like, if I would have give up, I would still be stressed out. I wouldn't be able to talk to people, and my physical health, like my heartburn, like I wouldn't, I wouldn't even be able to like cope with everything. In conclusion, I would like to say that physical health is, you have to be very motivated to do anything. Another thing, reducing stress, like you have to be able to talk to people or even just get your mind off of things. And last but not least, social skills, like just be able to communicate and be able to get up in front of a class. Like, it amazes me of how one little sport, like you don't have to play many sports, just one little sport that you can play, like that's the benefits that you would get. There's a lot more, but those three really stuck out to me.